Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm a bit sniffly at the moment and I quote-unquote lost my voice a little bit yesterday, so I sound a bit husky, but I'm feeling good and I'm very excited to be filming again. This video is very near and dear to my heart. I've been meaning to get this out for months and months and months. And I've been meaning to upload to YouTube in general for a while. I've been incredibly busy this year, and I think I'm going to do a whole other separate video just sharing and going through what I've been up to. It's been a lot of traveling, a lot of getting out and seeing the world, discovering parts of myself, and it has been lovely. I only have about half an hour before I have to shoot off, so I'm gonna try and keep this as quick as I can, but this is more a little introduction to the interview that I'm going to be sharing with you. So I was lucky enough to travel to Australia in February of this year to interview the author and healer Anya Petrovic. She kindly allowed me to come to her home and ask her a few questions, basically on the book and the healing modality that she began to develop back in 2009. I discovered the book in 2019, and then in January of this year I applied to an online course hosted by the University of Amsterdam, looking at Western esotericism and mysticism and alchemy and all of that good stuff. I was also very surprised that an established educational institution was even offering in their curriculum. I didn't have a great time at school, and it kind of turned me off the idea of further education. I never went to university, I just went straight into employment, but I was really excited, and I mentioned the book in my letter of motivation, and then in my final piece I thought instead of a 3,000 word essay on what I had learned, I would give more of a creative response, and I ended up writing 3,000 words anyway. What I decided to focus on in my final piece was the esoteric nature of pilgrimage, and why we choose to travel to sites of sacred significance. I actually ended up focusing a lot more on my journey to Uluru in the south of the Northern Territory, sort of slap bang in the middle of Australia. I did a lot of filming there as well, had some really beautiful experiences that I'm excited to share with you. I'm not going to talk too much about who Anya is or the nature of the work that she does. I'm going to post her information and one of the videos on her channel that describes in detail what she does. I knew that I wanted to put the full interview out on my channel, not only to promote Tesla Metamorphosis, which is the name of the healing modality that Anya has developed, but also to share this information in general, even looking past even if we put aside Tesla and the nature of the healing, I feel the conversation we had was really beautiful and enlightening, and this feels like a fresh beginning in a way. I know I've had a lot of those on this channel, but yeah, this information seems really significant, especially now, everything that's happening in the world. Everyone needs healing. Whether that started just from raising your self-awareness, trying to open a dialogue with yourself for greater understanding of how you react to things, you know, how you feel, how you perceive the world. I think everyone should be questioning these things right now. Ultimately, the way we begin to heal is through self-awareness and self-acceptance. That really helps. I'm going to leave it there. That's my brief introduction. Let's just dive straight into the interview, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So with me today I have Anya Petrovic, and she's the author of the wonderful book Tesla Metamorphosis. I know that you've done interviews in the past where you've gone into great depth about your work and your book, and today I want to dive a little bit deeper into how your connection and synchronistic experiences have influenced your relationship with the more esoteric facets of our reality, and through that explore how you've experienced pilgrimage. With my own journey, I'm investigating why we feel drawn to go to places of sacred and cultural significance, how that may relate to our soul path and how it connects us more to something deeper, and ultimately what that means for humanity in a way. So my first question, we've spoken a lot about raising the level of global consciousness and how Tesla soul communication can provide an elevation in that respect. Would you mind giving a brief overview of why you think this is important now, and how and why esoteric knowledge has been hidden from us in your own words?
Well, I think we are very brave that we have chosen to be on this planet in this dimension just at this particular time. And I think that wakening up and elevating consciousness is essential for human survival at this stage, because we are in Third World War, and that's a spiritual war. That's the war where they are attacking human soul, and human soul is connected to this universe of consciousness. That is why I travel around the world and teach that to help more people to elevate their consciousness. And it's not me doing something clever. Those are those Tesla ways. When we talk about energy healings, we are actually talking about connection with this universe of consciousness, because energy is consciousness. So depending on our frequency of consciousness, we can access certain areas and certain levels of this universe of consciousness. Nikola Tesla was a lucky one who can access this knowledge from universal consciousness just directly. And that is why he said, today science begins to study non-physical phenomena. It'll make more progress in 1 decade than in all previous centuries of its existence. And those are words of men who actually invented everything modern technology is based on. But you know, the difference between him and some who call them scientists nowadays was that Tesla said that science is its own perversion if it is not for the betterment of humanity. So, and he always insisted that all frequencies should be healthy for living beings. And now we experience completely different. 5G and all those frequencies, radiations. So we'll see how it's all going to end.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's sort of, it's almost everywhere you look, there's a level of manipulation, or at least confusion for the general public. It's like we almost don't have a space except for maybe in, you know, open-hearted spiritual circles where we don't see corruption in a way.
Yeah.
right down to the food we eat, the water that we bathe in. You know, I mean, in London, I know it's particularly bad. Yeah, thank you for that one. Okay, wonderful. Right, let's move on to the next. I'm most excited about this question. So I want to talk about pilgrimage. This is what I'm writing my paper on. Basically how we view it, what drives us to travel in this way. Could you possibly speak a little bit about your own experiences with pilgrimage? Maybe how travelling in general can be seen as a spiritual practice in its own right, and why you believe as humans we're drawn to spaces of energetical influence.
Yeah, well, I'm brought up as a Serbian Orthodox, and I respect that very much, but somehow I was taken to different places, and I'm sure that I was taken there to collect some information. And for example, at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I say I have to go to India, and at 2 o'clock next day I'm on the plane, not even knowing where I was going. I mean, it was such a synchronicity. It was just, and it was just like this. And I ended up in Sai Baba's ashram, and I had amazing experience. And it was so interesting that I was for the first time in India, and I felt at home. And I was walking through streets, and some Americans were, "Aren't you afraid?" Why would I be afraid? Yeah. And what was interesting, at that time I was doing Reiki before I went to India, and I was teaching Reiki, and I was sitting in this bay window, and my students there were just 5 students, and they were sitting in the seater, and at one stage I saw a column of light, and I looked at my students, but it seems that they didn't notice anything. So I said, I'm not going to mention it because they will say, oh, this teacher is too weird.
Yeah.
And next day, I wanted to clean a room just before the students come, and I saw 2 footprints, like small footprints, let's say like of a kid of 10. And I tried to wash it, but you couldn't wash it. It was like there was a chemical reaction between the floor varnish and this feet. And it's even some crossing on one, you know how angels cross their you have like ropes around their feet.
Yeah.
So and so I didn't know what it was, and it was exactly at the spot where the light was, the column of light was the previous night, and there were no footprints to this spot or from that spot. It was as if somebody landed and flew away. It was strange, and those footprints were there for 3-4 years on my floor. Yeah, but what was exciting, all the time, I don't know, I'm not, I don't get overwhelmed, in temples or something. I just feel good. I feel at home. But at one stage when Sai Baba was passing by and we had eye contact, and I heard him saying the footprints are mine, the tears started going down my cheeks.
Wow.
And what was interesting, that was in 2001, just after September 11. And 9 years later, when I started doing Tesla Metamorphosis, I was doing the very first class of Tesla Metamorphosis here in Sydney, and one student wrote me an email from a friend of hers who lives in Milan, saying that, like with a quote from a book, because this lady who wrote the book was in a constant connection with Sai Baba. And Sai Baba told her, I brought you an angel, Nikola Tesla, to help you improve your destiny, but you humans were envious and so on and so on. So could you imagine, in 2001, I was at Sai Baba's because of Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
And if you mention me or anybody like Sai Baba and Nikola Tesla, you know. And what was interesting, this lady even didn't know who Nikola Tesla was. And he said,
that.
yeah, and he said, yeah, you heard, wow, Nikola Tesla born then and then. And me being sometime like a control freak, I wanted to meet this lady, and I went to Milan. And yeah, she told me that she didn't know who Nikola Tesla was.
It's incredible.
Yes, and also out of the blue, I went to Peru. Like in 3 days, I decided I'm going.
What was the drive there?
It just you know you have to go,
Of course.
and that was one of my most beautiful experiences, because I went with 2 friends, and we were going like backpackers.
Yeah.
So, and they had they spoke fluent Spanish, which
Perfect.
is different from me. You know, my
Right.
Spanish is pretty rusty, and so we could feel the vibration of the place. We could mix with locals. They invited us for their ceremonies with Pachamama. And the most exciting experience was when one shaman from Andy, from mountains, Andy, came down, and he wasn't going from the mountain for I don't know how many years. He spoke just Kacha language, and then another man was translating it into Spanish, what he was talking, and then he addressed me, and he said, the human of light is coming to Earth. And it's not one human, it's the humanity needs to be the humans of light. And at that time, I had no idea that I will be doing Tesla light body metamorphosis.
Wow.
So you see how we are just picked up. And sometimes I feel like Beverly Hills Ninja, because I'm just pushed here and there.
Yeah, you just go, and your heart is what tells you.
And sometimes you're aware, I'm aware of what I receive, and sometimes I'm not. For example, I went to Smiljan, where Tesla was born. And I'm not very proud of how they organized that, because they made a techno museum of his home. And then they have some film that I'm not very proud of.
Right.
But first time when I went, I sat in this room where the film was on, and then I was gone. The only thing I was seeing was, you know how on old televisions there were those stripes?
Oh yeah, the colors. Yeah, with the bee. Yeah.
So the bee was not there, but the stripe was there.
Wow.
And I felt I was downloading something, but ask me what, I don't know. But it's obviously somewhere there.
Yeah.
So that is how I believe we are taken to some places to collect some information for our work.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, to be light beings in Tishugani.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Wow, no, and that's beautiful. And I suppose the only thing that holds us back from doing it is fear,
It's fear, yeah.
of everything. I know so many people that have dreamed of doing big travels or going somewhere, just dropping everything and just going. And what stops them is their fear. They're the stories
Like
they tell themselves. That's right. The
brain
left brain, the
starts
left
to
brain
over,
over. Yeah.
that doesn't make sense.
Or you've got kids, you've got this, you've got that to look after. But actually,
there's some very important things to do.
Yeah, no, your heart is connected to that place in a way that we don't truly understand, but we just follow the feeling. We know.
And one amazing experience was when I was first time in Florida. It was so interesting. This lady who invited me to be the host of the seminars, she was planning to come to Belgrade to do the seminars. And then she was sitting by the swimming pool, and all of a sudden a light being came and said, invite Anya to come to Florida. And she was, who am I to invite Anya to come to Florida, and who are you? And he said, I'm Nikola Tesla. And I said, oh yeah, why would Nikola Tesla be bothered to talk to me? And he said, invite Anya and she will answer you straight away, and you will know that I'm Nikola Tesla. And she did. She went in, she made an email, she sent an email, and from hundreds of emails, I just picked hers.
Wow.
And I said, yes, I'm coming, not even thinking, when, how. Actually, this lady was doing past life regressions, and she offered me, as I came, that let's do your past life regression. And I said, oh yeah. But when universe plans something for you, then it happens. So it was last day, my suitcases were packed, and she said, oh, but we didn't do past life regression. I said, all right, let's do it. She wants it so much. I was horrible. And so I laid on the sofa, and she would put some music on, and then she said, imagine a lift, an elevator. And I imagined one that was in the Congress and Concert Hall where I used to work for 15 years. And she said, what floor do you want to go to? And I said, to 9th floor. And there are no 9th floors in this building. I don't know why I said 9th floor.
What a powerful number.
Yeah, and that was interesting. Before I started Tesla Metamorphosis, I was seeing 999 everywhere. I turned around 999. The street, the house number is 999. The car plate 999. All right. Anyway, I said 9th floor. I don't know why. And then when I came to that 9th floor, and the doors of the elevator opened, I have found myself in some esoteric, etheric green space, fluorescent green color with different densities. So I felt it as a landscape, and there were very thin, tall, light beings, just in shape of human, but as stretched. Yeah. And you just see light beings, and So some very strong emotion, started growing in me, and tears starting running down my cheeks, which is not very usual for me. And I was, totally. I can't find the word that would express this emotion, like bliss, love.
But it feels even,
Something
so big. It's almost like we're
much bigger of all those words.
Yeah.
And then I tried to talk, and that sounded very funny because I didn't have very good contact with my talking apparatus. So it was like from a barrel,
Yeah.
Is this a future or a past life? Because it was so futuristic. So, and it crossed my mind. So if that's my past life, why on earth I came to Earth so that I have to wash myself, to wash dishes and all that?
Eating even.
Yeah. And I didn't ask anything, it just crossed my mind. But over there you don't have to talk.
Yeah.
So I got the answer. I was told that I've chosen to go back to Earth because light beings cannot do some things without help of light beings in tissue garments. And actually that is what we are.
Yeah.
Light beings in tissue garments.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing experience, really. And then she also asked me if I could recognize anybody. And I thought, how could I recognize anybody? There are no faces, it's just
The
a form, But somehow I knew there was Nikola Tesla, and there was San Paraskeva, or San Petka, which is a Serbian Orthodox Christianity saint. And I had awareness that Mother Teresa and San Petka are the same light being. How? Don't ask me, but that was my knowing at that moment. And then when it was time to go back, I just felt I would like to stay.
Well, it probably felt like home. Like somewhere that you could express your entirety without the burden.
No limitation.
Yes, that's
no
right.
Limitation.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the teaching that you got stated that the way that we grow is from experiencing limitation by being incarnate.
I'm sure that we come to Earth, to this life, like to school.
Yes.
And either we pass or we have to repeat.
That's right, we go back a year, a year.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
The worst enemy is fear.
Yes.
And that is what I teach my students, to get rid of fear.
Yeah.
Because even if we imagine the worst case scenario, it's not, they can kill me.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. If you really dig deep into it, all fear is a fear of death. This kind of weird, this idea that we've been indoctrinated into.
Yeah, and also with religions, they're saying suffer in this life, and then if you're good, if you
then
you'll be in heaven.
That's right.
Yeah. Which I don't think that God had in mind.
Probably not, no.
Anyway, yeah.
But and then there's but then the hell is the state of fear that they can use to keep control over your mind in this life. So, if you don't listen to our rules, then you will die and you will go to hell and your soul will never be free, etc., etc.
Right. And now they're doing nowadays, in these last couple of years, that is exactly what they're doing, not a couple of years, even more. when I was a kid, and don't ask me when. Well, we were watching Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, and they were naughty, but it was all innocent. And now even cartoons are with monsters, with aggression, with blood, horrible. And films, there are new films like The Splendor in the Grass, Love Story, or the Old Man in the Sea, and things like this. This all is about aggression. At least one person has to be killed.
That's right.
And so building fear, news.
Oh yeah, I mean, we can.
And this pandemic of COVID, that's all about it. Building fear.
That's right.
And control. And I try to teach my students to realize how perfect we are, how powerful we are as humans. Much more powerful than we are aware of.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well, a beautiful answer, thank you. And I had these 3 questions set out so that they would be a little bit more like just a conversation, And this is technically my final question, but it's something very near and dear to my heart. And I wanted to ask about Uluru. So as you know, I'm going there in a couple of days, just by myself, a little bit like you. I've had many people being like, you're going alone, what are you doing, are you crazy, But I feel like it's really important for me to be there. And just to connect with the land and to see what happens. As Tesla said, we're all just receivers, and it was fascinating to hear that we are called to these places to download information, because I think you're right, ultimately that's what it is, whether we're aware of it or not.
Just in January 2019, I was in Uluru.
You were?
Yeah, just before they closed everything.
Okay,
Yeah, that's an amazing place. I mean, whatever I tell you would not be enough
of
to
course.
just experience it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And also you have to see the drawings in this.
The cave paintings.
The cave paintings. And the sunrise and sunset.
I've been told.
You feel amazing energy there.
Yeah.
And I feel ashamed that I'm not connected that much with Aboriginal people. I'm here for 30 years or so. And I haven't had much experience.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But they are amazingly spiritual. And I had an amazing experience once when I was in Blue Mountains, and you were.
I was there yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was a long time ago. I think my son was 6 or 7, something like this. And on that plateau from where you can see Three Sisters, the mountains.
Yeah, I think
there
Echo
was
or something,
there was an Aboriginal man, and he was dancing the dance of emu and kangaroo, and just for fun, I started dancing, and my son, we started dancing with him. But what was amazing, that experience that, I just started for fun, dancing. And then I started feeling the spirit of kangaroo in me.
Wow.
I mean, it was so exciting. It was amazing. And what happened the next morning, I mean, we were staying in the house of some friends, and we were chatting late, we stayed late that night. And I went to bed, and then my son, he jumped on my bed at one stage, and he said, look, Mom, the moon made a painting. And you know how the moon was going through branches and making a painting on the wall?
Oh, the shadow, yeah.
The shadows, but it was so bluish and, vibrant, so it really looked like paint.
Yeah.
But I was half asleep. I said, okay, yes, beautiful, go to bed. And then it was still almost dark, but a lot of kids starting.
Yeah.
And my son jumped on my bed again. Oh, can you hear that? Let's go for a walk. Let's go. And I knew, if I don't go with him for a walk, then he will wake up all the house. So I put some clothes on him and on myself, and we went for a walk. But what was amazing, in this short walk, we saw a completely white kangaroo, a white eagle, and a white dingo. And it wasn't albino dingo or albino kangaroo. Their eyes were brown, their eyes were not red. I was never aware that white kangaroos existed. Later on, I researched on some Google and found out that, some other people saw white kangaroo there. And I had the privilege to talk to an Aboriginal lady later, and she told me that we were given a permit by elders to enter their sacred land because we danced the dance of kangaroo and emu. So you see how beautiful it was.
Really, it gives me goosebumps, there's something about just the connection to the land and the worship of the land as our collective mother, there's something so, it's just so sacred and so raw and so profound yet innocent, and I think it's just love.
And actually those people that we tend to call like primitive tribes in Africa and so on, they are much more connected to the source, to universal consciousness than us. I have high respect for Jung.
Yes.
But to come to this stage of collective subconsciousness, he had to go very long and difficult way.
Absolutely.
Aborigines, they're there.
Yeah.
Their dream time.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
With technology, we learned a lot, but we lost a lot.
Absolutely.
So the real future is to put science and spirituality together. And that is why Tesla was genius, because his science was spiritual.
Yeah.
He was aware that consciousness is not just, that energy is not just a movement of particles. He was aware that he was dealing with consciousness. I don't know whether you know Swami Vivekananda.
Yes.
All right. So there was mutual respect between Tesla and Swami Vivekananda. And once when Swami visited Tesla's laboratory, he wrote a letter to a colleague in India. And he said that in different lights of Tesla's laboratory, he could see Shiva and Vishnu and all their gods.
Yeah, wow.
And then he said, and he even felt the presence of Brahma. And then he said that Tesla talks to his electricity, giving
Like
it
it's a
orders.
being, okay.
He communicates with energy like with conscious being. So he was aware that energy is actually consciousness, this universal consciousness, and each of us, we are undividable part of this universal consciousness, but depending on our frequency of consciousness, we could get to certain levels and certain areas of this universal consciousness.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that. I've got a couple of questions that are just a little bit fun,
Okay.
that are just personal sort of questions, and I apologise if this is in your book, but I'm just curious to know. I may have forgotten, I can't remember. Why did you move to Australia to begin with?
Oh, that will be a funny answer.
Okay, great, cool.
Yeah. I just, listened to my heart, to my instinct, because I was never in Australia before I moved to Australia. The reason I moved was because that totally ridiculous war started in my country, and I didn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But the funny part is because I'm a scuba diving instructor. I like scuba diving, and I was watching Sydney to Hobart, yacht. And I saw those vertical rocks going down to the ocean. I said, "Oh, that's a great place for scuba diving."
Perfect. So you moved here. Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, you've picked probably one of the best places in the world to be a scuba. You know, I mean, scuba.
I don't know how. Like, I lived in London for 2 years, and I was homesick all the time. I was homesick. I moved to Australia, and first time I went to Serbia and I was returning to Australia, I felt like coming home.
Wow.
Which I can't explain,
Yeah,
really.
no, of course. Well, you're clearly meant to be here. It's a magical country, and I'm glad that, I mean, I feel like there were lots of little different things. I think Tesla led me here, you being here led me here, and Uluru led me here. You know, it's like this kind of trinity of inspiration, and it's wonderful to be here. And one last little question that I haven't written down, but it just came to me as you were speaking. And I guess in my heart, I'm just curious about this. What do you feel Tesla's connection to doves and pigeons were? Because I know that they have, you know, amazing, they've got like the magnetics of their brain, like they've got pure direction, and obviously they're beautiful and, innocent, and the dove is a symbol of peace throughout culture and stuff. But
And the Holy Spirit as well.
And the Holy Spirit, of course. I mean, obviously we can speculate, but...
Yeah, we can speculate, but it was simply he loved them, and he lived long years in a hotel New Yorker in New York, and his windows were always open so that doves and pigeons can come in. And I don't know whether you know, but he wrote a dove love story when he said, "I love that dove as a man loves a woman."
Yeah.
And then he said that she came to tell him that she was dying. And he said, in the moment when this dove died, such a strong light came out of Dove's eyes. He said, none of the lamps in my laboratory could create such a strong light. And he said, when this dove died, a piece of me died too. So he loved them, that's simple. And my whole story with Tesla Metamorphosis started
with the two doves, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
had
magical formation.
that childish idea that maybe that was Tesla and his loving dove.
Coming and trying to, yeah, wonderful. Wow, thank you so much. That was amazing and powerful, and absolutely honoured to meet you.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to, how do you say, spontaneous.
Yes, yeah, of course. Well, isn't that always the way things are meant to go, actually? Even if you plan and plan and plan, the universe knows, and the universe will put you where you need to go. And
Yeah, usually, when I have interviews, they ask me about Tesla Metamorphosis, the modality, and
They want to know how it
how
works.
they
Yeah.
benefit
The healing
from it,
yeah.
the healing work. And most of people are interested in the healing part of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it seems to me that we receive those amazing healings as donkey or carrot to be focused towards something which is even more important, and that's elevating consciousness and getting Tesla light body metamorphosis to be the human of light.
Yeah.
How this shaman from Andy said, it's on us to get to the stage to be the humans of light on earth.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Jesus said the divine kingdom is within you. You know, he didn't say worship me as an external being. He says you can achieve the power I have because it's within you all. The glory of God is within you all.
Yeah.
People are often very focused on healing because we don't want to suffer. We want to try everything to. It's why the pharmaceutical industry is so prolific.
And on the other hand, I believe that that's the learning when we get sick, and so everything happens for a reason.
It's right. It's our body.
I remember when I did Reiki classes, when I attended the Reiki classes, most of people who attended the class either had illness that was healed or had somebody who was close to them and got healed, or had somebody who is sick and they wanted to help. I didn't know why I went. And so when I was talking to teacher and she asked everybody,
why?
I said, I don't know.
Which is
and
the
she
best
said,
answer.
that's the most,
It's the
the
most,
best possible
it's the
reason.
most powerful reason.
Yeah, because you just feel, and it was so funny because, I went from Yugoslavia and I didn't know anything about Reiki, and then a friend of mine rang me and said, Denise Crandall, a Reiki teacher, is coming from Melbourne and she comes only once a year, and so I'm going to do the classes. And I said, so what is Reiki?
Tell me.
And he said, you learn how to heal over a weekend. And I said, over a weekend. And then some little voice in my head, you have to do it. And I rang the teacher and said, look, I don't know what is that Reiki of yours, but I know I have to do it. So could you suggest me some books to prepare myself, because I know nothing about it? And she laughed, because at that time I thought you learn everything from a book.
Yeah, well, that's what we're taught. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and instead she sent me to Michelle and Marcus to experience Reiki, and that was a very nice experience. And I know that I had to go through Reiki and to reconnective healing to be able to accept and to get, because when I had initiation in Reiki, I never had headaches. That night, my head was exploding.
Wow.
So obviously, some shifting was happening.
Yeah.
So
it was a preparation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. That's it. And
Thank
got
you.
the little bird coming to say thank you very much. And that's it, guys. Do let me know what you felt, what you received from that. I'm sorry the cicadas or whatever giant crickety things live in Australia were just going a bit mad during the video. I'm apologising on their behalf, but on the other hand, they also added some charm. I hope this interview, spoke to you. I hope that you check out Anya's work. I'm actually lucky enough to be training with her as we speak. She's in London at the moment and offering Tesla Healing Metamorphosis seminars, and I feel very, very honoured and very blessed to be in that space, to be soaking up all of that information and to have the opportunity to share it with the world. Basically, I'm not only raising my own consciousness through this work, but I'm also learning how to help others raise their consciousness, which ultimately I feel I'm on this planet to do. I hope this video very much reflects that. I hope that you check out Tesla and his life. He is just an absolutely fascinating and magical being. The world was not ready for him. But yeah, hope this video sparked some joy within you, or some intrigue, or some what the hell are these two mad ladies talking about? Like, even that is good. I'm probably gonna sign off now because this video is long enough, but I thank you all deeply for just taking the time to watch it. Even if there are people that didn't watch it all the way through, like, just clicking on it already invites that energy into your life, in my humble perspective. It's wonderful to be back again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Got distracted by a squirrel in the tree outside there. There's another one. Sending love to you all, love to the world. We're going through a crazy time right now, and there are many, many people suffering. So if we can hold love in our hearts for humanity, for ourselves, then we're doing good work. Until next time, you guys, thanks again for tuning in. How many times can I say thank you in a video? I don't know. Maybe I'll film a video of me just saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for like 20 minutes, and we'll see what happens. But saying thank you is good. Be appreciative of everything you have in your life, even if it's causing you pain and suffering. It is there to teach you. I send love to you all. Keep shining, keep helping others, keep questioning things, and until next time, bye guys.